This is Capricorn Records. Though its exterior is dilapidated now, it was once Macon's most successful record label, run by this man, Phil Worden. Worden is responsible for pioneering Southern rock and making the Allman Brothers Band famous. From 1969 to 1979, Capricorn Records was the center of Macon's music scene and established the city as a hotspot for creative new Southern rock. Unfortunately, the label moved to Nashville at the end of the 1970s, and the music scene has taken a long time to recover. Simply driving through Macon's downtown area wouldn't give you any clues that the city was once a mecca for Southern rock. After a long economic downturn and a move to the suburbs by many of the city's residents, the city's downtown area has taken a turn for the worse, and the music scene followed for much of the 1980s and 90s. Now, however, there's a strong resurgence of creativity within the scene by bands such as Magtard, Zabby, and Rollybots, as well as solo acts such as Amy Godwin and Flaco Torres. For an insider's perspective on the Macon music scene, we spoke with Clark Bush, bassist for bands such as Zombie and Truffalina, and promoter for local venue and bookstore, The Golden Bough. Clark's stepfather, Rag Dog, was a roadie with the Allman Brothers Band, and Clark has spent his whole life around the Macon music scene. So, tell me what you think about Macon's music scene right now.
I think it's probably at its best I've seen it my whole life, though it probably still always has room to grow. There's more options, every week than there even was a year or two ago. But I don't know, I've kind of been inactive, over the past few months with it, but still trying to keep it going. The bookstore is still, good crowds always. It varies depending on, what's going on, but, I think there's always going to be support there no matter what. I guess, my main incentive with, the compilation and the fanzine was that there was all these bands in town that nobody was representing, so there was nobody pushing them out there in front of people to be seen, and the bars and local venues aren't too interested in it, so they don't ever book it. And it's just a young scene that kind of thrives at the 567 or the bookstore.
So what do you feel like your position is in the scene as someone who both played in bands and books bands?
It's kind of weird. I feel like some people, a lot of people want to get in at the bookstore, and some people I won't book them either because I don't like the music or, I just don't think it fits. But I don't know, I feel like some people see me as the caretaker or some weird thing. But I don't know, I think it's good that I play music as well as book it, and, kind of helps guide my taste a little bit.
So tell me about your dad and the work he did with the Allman Brothers.
Well, my real dad, was an audio engineer for Capricorn, and I never got to meet him. His name was Tad Bush, and he recorded Leonard Skinner, Stillwater, and was known as a genius. From what I hear from all the old timers here, he was the audio electrical genius who could fix anything, But Red Dog, who was my stepdad, raised me, and he kind of introduced me to the stage when I was a little kid. I used to run around the stage on Allman Brothers stage and help him, and I'm sure that definitely guided me into wanting to pursue that as a career, seeing it at a young age and seeing how much money was there and how fun it could be. And I don't know, he was always considered a roadie for, they call the people, because he would always let people in the back door, and he was always helping people, so that's always inspired me. Kind of why we have free shows, and kind of why I don't charge more than $5 for a weekend event, because I want everybody to be able to get in and enjoy it. But I grew up with jam bands and blues and all that, but it seems like I've tried to get away from that as much as I can, even though I still respect my roots. It's we're all trying to progress onto something new here, as you probably know.
So what are you focusing on now, musically?
Probably playing with Zabby, I think, because when I first heard them, I thought they were the best thing to come out of town in a long time, and I was really just excited, and I would tell them, you know, we're going on tour. I don't care if I'm your sound guy or your booking agent or whatever. Like, I really believed in what they were doing, and now that I'm playing bass for them, you know, I'm just going to focus on that and try to get an album done by like the end of summer, maybe.
And then we went to the 567 to talk to Sean Pritchard, booking agent for a local blog and promotion agency called the Blue Indian.
Okay, first introduce yourself
Okay.
and your title.
I'm Sean Pritchard. I run theblueindian.com and handle booking for the website. It's a music blog that books cats and
Okay,
all
wait.
types of cats come to
Start
Macon.
start over. Why do you think it's important that you book bands for Macon, that Macon has good bands come here?
Because there aren't that many other people that are interested in doing it, because it hasn't been very successful in the past, and so the group of people that I work with for my website and a group of other people in Macon that do similar things kind of have taken it upon ourselves to change the way that people in Macon think about music, and we want to introduce them to newer music instead of the same old bands playing, you know, every weekend at the same bars.
Do you think that Macon could be as successful once again as it was back in the Allman Brothers days?
That's a pretty lofty, I guess, title to uphold, but we're trying to. We hope that it can be. Yeah, over the past 4 years that I've been booking bands, it's, you know, slowly cultivated a music scene that people enjoy, but they also feel kind of responsible for being a part of. And so that's helped because we've slowly formed a crowd that wants to be a part of what we're doing instead of just onlookers. And so we're, I guess, trying to make a difference with what we do. And as we've introduced people to new bands and exposed people to the social aspect of going to a show and finding out about new music and kind of taking it upon themselves to be responsible for what they have going on instead of us, you know, giving them a calendar of what they need to do and saying, be here, be doing this. Yeah, most of the people that I work with in Macon that are doing, you know, booking music and trying to make this music scene grow are younger kids. I think for the most part that's because in the late 80s and 90s, the people that were doing music saw that it was unsuccessful in Macon because it was sort of a burnt out market for bands to play in, and so now you have a bunch of people that are kind of anxious and tired of sitting around or driving to Atlanta or Athens to see bands, and so they're trying to change that by booking shows, even if it's smaller bands that no one's ever heard of. They're trying to expose an audience to newer music and introduce them to a lifestyle, I guess, if you will, of going out and being involved with this music and meeting bands and buying CDs and hanging out and all those things.
Finally, we headed to the Hummingbird Stage and Tap Room, which was hosting the Big Bird Bash, an all-day concert, to speak to the Magtard, who'd be performing later that night. tell me about Mactar, like how you guys got started. And
Magtar got started 2.5 years ago, I guess. Just honestly out of boredom. I was playing in a couple other bands, a couple of the other guys were playing in other bands, and we just didn't have anything to do on a Tuesday night, so we started playing music and then wrote some songs, and a few months later we got a gig and kind of stuck with it.
all right. What are some of your biggest influences?
Biggest influences? Women and booze, definitely.
Those are good influences. I'm a fan of those. So, how do you feel about the music scene in Macon? Like, how do you feel it's progressing over the years?
I can only speak for my time here, and I've been here since 2005, and I've definitely seen like a huge progression, a lot of bands coming out of the scene. You know, when we first started playing 3.5 years ago, it was just us and the Liabilities and Hank Vegas. There were a lot of other bands before us that had kind of petered out at that point, and there really wasn't a whole lot of other bands going on. And now it seems like there's a new band every week, and it's not like a new cover band. It's a new like crazy weirdo spaz rock band where someone's farting into a microphone. And I'm not saying that's awesome. I'm just saying it's definitely a lot more than just Allman Brothers fourth generation stuff. I'm not knocking them either. I'm just saying it's Macon, and that tends to be the trend. Let's play a bunch of Allman Brothers tunes and call ourselves a band.
So what do you feel some of your favorite bands playing in Macon right now?
Right now, I think Zabi is really exciting. I also think Flacco has done amazing things with not only him on his own, but also bringing in the whole rock band thing. I think that's awesome. I know he's worked really hard with all that. I think Juby in the Morning After are good at what they do. Personally, I like City Council better, which was Juby's band before that. But that's just a personal taste thing. I like Citizen Insane a lot, but I also played with them now, so I guess that's kind of a biased opinion. The bass player for Magtar, Trendlenberg, he does a lot of stuff on his own. He's been writing songs by himself for 15 years or so. I really like his stuff a lot. Rollybots, of course, are one of my faves. They are playing kind of intermittently now, but they're still pretty awesome. And there's actually a lot more girls in the scene that are playing and participating, which I think is awesome. And of course, Mother Cunt is one of my favorites, just because they're amazing. If you haven't heard them, they're okay. You have?
Yeah. Name alone is a thumbs up, I think.
And anyone else that I didn't name, please don't beat my ass, because there's so many. And I'm getting my ass beat right now. Don't ever have a sax player. They're drunk, negligent, and kind of violent. It's okay though.
So what do you feel is your band's place in the music scene?
I don't know. I like that. Because I think we appeal to some of the younger kids, some of the older kids, but I don't know that we really have, I don't know that we're the cool indie rock band. We're the sweaty old men with a saxophone. And I like that though, it's fun.
Alright, so you play saxophone in Magtar. How do you get started with that?
I met these guys. As a sax player, you're always kind of begging for a band. Everybody wants saxophone, but nobody really wants saxophone. I play through a guitar amp and effects pedals because sound guys turned me down, and I just got tired of not being heard. So I met these guys, and we're loud and ugly, and they're accepting.
How do you feel about tonight's show?
I felt really good. I had knee surgery 6 weeks ago, and I used to jump around on stage, and I hurt my knee really bad. And then I had to play a few gigs where I had to stand still. I don't like standing still at all, so I was pretty stoked about being able to run around like a dumbass.